Our event study showing gold getting ready for a breakout. Now, the Federal Reserve met on Wednesday this week and they hiked by 25 basis points as interest rate markets were expecting. They signaled a rate pause, which was being expected, and they've moved to really a meeting by meeting basis on the future path of hikes. They did remove in the statement language suggesting the possibility of further policy tightening. So it does look like the Fed is signaling they've reached the end of their hiking cycle. Now, after the decision, gold sort of just gradually moved higher. You can see, let me just get this a bit clearer. We'll just stick with the daily chart there. Now, gold sort of moved higher gradually on the decision. There was a bit of choppy price action as the statement and the press conference went underway, but gold sort of gradually moved higher. Now, if we take a look at the data that's coming up, on Friday, we have non-farm payrolls data, and the Fed said that they were concerned about a tight labour market. So if the payrolls data disappoints, and then next week on Wednesday, we've got inflation data. If that comes in much lower than expected, headline inflation in the US is 5%, forecast to fall to 4.9, core staying around that 5.6%. But if that falls even lower on Wednesday, and we've also got some inflation data out on the end of the week with the Michigan consumer inflation expectations for the 1 year and the 5 year. Now, if the labour market misses, if the inflation data misses, and the Michigan consumer data confirms that potential Wednesday print, if they both move in the same direction, that could be pointing for a potential breakout on gold. Now, technically, if you just take a look at gold, you can see that gold has got a hidden bullish divergence here, right up around these highs. And you can see prices wanting to gun and have a third go at breaking out of this level. And in fact, if you drew a potential trend line across the top, you can see that gold is, really just wanting to break through that. So that becomes a reference point. Now, you can see that price is making it's just moving higher. So we've got these sort of higher lows that are forming, even as the indicator is making lower lows. So you've got higher lows moving that way, you've got the indicator make lower lows that way, and that's a hidden bullish divergence. So technically, price is wanting to break out. Now, looking at the Season X event studies, you can see that when the Fed has hiked interest rates, that in the days after the interest rate hike, gold tends to gain. So with this bias towards gold gaining, with some key economic data ahead, with some interesting technical factors, is gold priming itself for a breakout? Major trade risk. The major trade risk here, of course, would be if later data comes in very tight on Friday and inflation comes in really strong on Wednesday. That's both going to be pushing the Fed to potentially reconsider, hiking interest rates again. And also those events would likely pressure gold because you'd see yields rise, the dollar rise, and that would pressure gold to the downside. Remember, don't just trade it, but seize an exit.